Have you ever noticed how the people who hurt us the most are often not the people we barely know, but the people we once admired the most? The people we trusted without question. The people we believed were different from everyone else. The people we secretly thought would never disappoint us. What makes these experiences so painful is not always what the person did. Often, the real source of pain is the collapse of the image we created in our minds. It is the moment reality destroys fantasy. It is the moment we are forced to see someone as they truly are instead of who we desperately wanted them to be. Carl Jung believed that one of the most powerful psychological forces operating within human beings is projection. Most people go through life believing they see others clearly, but Jung argued the opposite. He believed that we rarely see people as they truly are. Instead, we see them through layers of unconscious desires, fears, expectations, and fantasies. We project our inner world onto the people around us, and then we mistake that projection for reality. This process begins so subtly that most people never notice it. You meet someone, and immediately your mind begins creating a story. Maybe they seem confident, mysterious, intelligent, attractive, kind, or successful. Before you truly know them, your imagination fills in the missing pieces. Your mind starts building an image that feels complete. You assume qualities you have never actually witnessed. You create explanations for behaviors you barely understand. Little by little, you stop relating to the real person and start relating to a character created by your own mind. This is why first impressions can be so deceptive. The mind hates uncertainty. It wants quick answers. It wants certainty. So when information is incomplete, it fills the gaps with imagination. Unfortunately, imagination is often influenced by desire. We do not see what is there. We see what we hope is there. The more emotionally invested we become, the stronger the illusion grows. We begin ignoring evidence that contradicts the story. We overlook flaws. We justify behavior that should concern us. We make excuses for actions that would be unacceptable if performed by someone else. Our attachment to the fantasy becomes stronger than our commitment to reality. This happens in romantic relationships more than anywhere else. A person meets someone who seems special, and suddenly they become the center of an emotional universe. Every text message feels meaningful. Every conversation feels profound. Every small act of kindness becomes proof that the person is extraordinary. The imagination begins working overtime, constructing a future that may never exist. The tragedy is that the person often never asked for this role. They never asked to become a hero, a soulmate, a savior, or the answer to someone's loneliness. Yet because of projection, they are assigned these roles anyway. Jung believed that much of what we call love is actually projection in disguise. This does not mean genuine love does not exist. It means that before genuine love can emerge, illusion must disappear. Real love sees reality. Projection sees fantasy. Real love accepts imperfection. Projection demands perfection. The danger of romanticizing people is that it blinds us to reality. We stop asking difficult questions. We stop paying attention to warning signs. We stop evaluating people objectively. Instead, we become emotionally attached to an image, and every image eventually breaks. No human being can live up to perfection because perfection does not exist. Every person has contradictions. Every person has weaknesses. Every person has insecurities, selfish moments, fears, and limitations. The individual you admire most is still human. The person you think has everything figured out still struggles privately. The person you believe is flawless is fighting battles you cannot see. Yet when we romanticize people, we deny their humanity. We transform them into symbols. We place them on pedestals so high that eventually they are destined to fall. The higher the pedestal, the more painful the fall. This is why disappointment often feels so devastating. The pain is not always caused by the person's actions. The pain comes from the destruction of fantasy. It comes from realizing that the image you loved never truly existed. You were attached to a possibility, an idea, a story, a dream. Reality simply arrived. One of Jung's most profound insights was that whatever we admire excessively in others often points to something hidden within ourselves. When we become obsessed with someone's confidence, perhaps it is because we have not developed our own. When we idolize someone's strength, perhaps it is because we doubt our own strength. When we become fascinated by another person's freedom, perhaps it is because we feel trapped in our own lives. The qualities we worship in others often reveal qualities we have neglected within ourselves. This is why projection can become dangerous. Instead of developing our own potential, we become fixated on someone else's. Instead of discovering our own strength, we worship theirs. Instead of building our own identity, we become emotionally dependent on theirs. The day you stop romanticizing people is often the day you begin reclaiming these lost parts of yourself. You realize that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to complete you. No one is going to magically remove your insecurities. No one is responsible for creating your happiness. At first, this realization feels harsh, but eventually it becomes liberating. Because when you stop searching for perfection in others, you begin developing strength within yourself. You stop expecting people to fulfill impossible roles. You stop demanding that others become the source of your self-worth. You stop handing your emotional stability to strangers. Instead, you begin standing on your own foundation. This shift changes everything. You become less easily manipulated. You become less desperate for validation. You become less vulnerable to disappointment. Not because people change, because your perception changes. You begin seeing people as they are rather than as you wish them to be. And surprisingly, this often leads to healthier relationships. Many people fear that seeing reality will make life less beautiful. They fear that removing illusion will remove magic. But Jung would argue the opposite. Fantasy creates temporary excitement. Reality creates lasting understanding. A relationship built on fantasy is fragile because it depends on illusion. The moment reality appears, the foundation cracks. But a relationship built on truth becomes stronger because it is rooted in authenticity. When you stop romanticizing people, you stop being shocked by human imperfection. You expect flaws because you understand human nature. You expect mistakes because you understand reality. You expect complexity because you understand psychology. This does not make you cynical. It makes you wise. There is an enormous difference between wisdom and cynicism. The cynic believes everyone is bad. The wise person understands that everyone is human. The cynic distrusts everyone. The wise person sees clearly. The cynic closes their heart. The wise person opens their eyes. Jung believed that maturity involves integrating reality rather than escaping from it. Mature individuals stop chasing fantasies. They stop looking for flawless heroes. They stop searching for perfect relationships. Instead, they learn to appreciate reality with all its imperfections. This is where true freedom begins, because the moment you stop romanticizing people, you stop giving them godlike power over your emotions. Their approval becomes less important. Their rejection becomes less devastating. Their imperfections become less surprising. You finally allow them to be human. And in doing so, you allow yourself to be human as well. Perhaps the greatest lesson hidden within this journey is that every person you idealize is holding up a mirror. The qualities you admire, the strengths you envy, the traits you worship often point toward unrealized parts of yourself. The goal was never to worship the person. The goal was to discover what they awakened within you. The confidence you admired was always possible within you. The courage you admired was always possible within you. The strength you admired was always possible within you. The freedom you admired was always possible within you. The person was only a reflection. The potential was always yours. The day you stop romanticizing people is not the day life becomes less meaningful. It is the day life becomes more real. The illusions disappear, but wisdom takes their place. The fantasies fade, but clarity emerges. You stop chasing perfect people and start understanding human nature. You stop worshiping others and start developing yourself. You stop living through projections and begin living through truth. Carl Jung understood that psychological growth begins when illusion ends. The collapse of fantasy may feel painful, but it is often the beginning of genuine freedom. Because when you finally see people as they truly are, you no longer need them to be perfect. And when you no longer need perfection, you can finally appreciate reality. That is the day you stop romanticizing people. And that is also the day you begin seeing the world with clear eyes for the very first time.